Irregular verbs.
Be. Was, were. Been. Become. Became. Become. Begin. Began. Begun. Bite. Bit. Bitten. Blow. Blew. Blown. Blowed. Break. Broke. Broken. Bring. Brought. Brought. Build. Built. Built. Burn. Burnt. Burned. Burnt. Burned. Buy. Bought. Bought. Catch. Caught. Caught. Choose. Chose. Chosen. Come. Came. Come. Cost. 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 Cut. 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 Do. Did. Done. Draw. Drew. Drawn. Drink. Drank. Drunk. Drive. Drove. Driven. Eat. Ate. Eaten. Fall. Fell. Fallen. Feed. Fed. Fed. Feel. Felt. Felt. Fight. Fought. Fought. Find. Found. Found. Fly. Flew. Flown. Forget. Forgot. Forgotten. Forgive. Forgave. Forgiven. Get. Got. Got. Give. Gave. Given. Go. Went. Gone. Grow. Grew. Grown. Hang. Hung. Hung. Have. Had. Had. Hear. Heard. Heard. Hide. Hid. Hidden. Hit. 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 Hold. Held. Held. Hurt. 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 Keep. Kept. Kept. Know. Knew. Known. Learn. Learnt. Learned. Learnt. Learned. Leave. Left. Left. Let. 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 Lose. Lost. Lost. Make. Made. Made. mean, meant, meant, meet, met, met, pay, paid, paid, put, 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 read, 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 ride, road, ridden, ring, rang, rung, run, ran, run, say, said, said, see, saw, seen, sell, sold, sold, send, sent, sent, set, 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 shine, shone, shone, show, showed, shown, showed, shut, 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 sing, sang, sung, sit, sat, sat, sleep, slept, slept, smell, smelt, smelled, smelt, smelled, speak, spoke, spoken, spell, spelt, spelled, spelt, spelled, spend, spent, spent, spin, spun, spun, spread, 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 stand, stood, stood, steal, stole, stolen, swim, swam, swum, take, took, taken, teach, taught, taught, tell, told, told, think, thought, thought, throw, through, thrown, understand, understood, understood, wake, woke, woken, wear, wore, worn, win, won, won, write, wrote, written.
CLIL A. The Olympic Games. Page 188. Exercise 1.
The Olympic Games. You are in an enormous sports stadium. Thousands of spectators are shouting your name. Everyone is taking your photo. On TV, over 3 billion people are watching you. Someone puts the gold medal around your neck and you see your country's flag in front of you. You're an Olympic champion. But how did it all begin? How did the Olympic Games become so popular? Ancient Greece. The Olympic Games are the world's oldest sports competition. They began in ancient Greece in 776 BC. The name comes from Olympia, a town in a valley in western Greece. Athletes travelled there every 4 years to compete in a special sports competition. They played many sports that we still know today, like boxing and wrestling. Athletes also did the long jump and threw the discus and the javelin. Sprinting was popular too. Everyone wanted to see the fastest runner. The modern Olympics. The original games ended when the Romans stopped them, and for 1,500 years there were no Olympic Games anywhere. Then, in 1892, a young Frenchman called Pierre de Coubertin had the idea of starting a new Olympic Games. Many countries agreed, and so the modern Olympics were born. The first modern Games took place in Athens in 1896. The first modern Olympics were very different to the games we know and love today. Only 13 countries were there, and they did just 43 sports. All the athletes were men. Compare the 1896 Olympics to the 2016 Olympics in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. In Brazil, 11,000 athletes competed in over 300 events. About 45% of athletes were women. In fact, the US team had more women athletes, 292, than men, 263. A global event. The Olympics are now a truly global event. The Games are held in a different country every 4 years. Recent Olympic Games include ones hosted in Australia, Sydney 2000, Europe, Athens 2004 and London 2012, and Asia, Beijing 2008. Sport for all. The Olympic Games is for everyone. Not every country plays football or basketball, but any country can send an athlete to the Olympics, and all the nations of the world can take part. With the start of the Paralympic Games for disabled athletes in Rome in 1960, there is a sport for everyone, which is why the Olympic movement continues to grow. And that is how a local competition in a small town in Greece became one of the biggest international sports festivals in the world.
CLIL B. Life as an astronaut. Page 190. Exercise 1.
Life as an astronaut. What's life like up in space? Tell us all about living on the ISS. Posted by Class 9A 2 days ago. Hi, Class 9A. Well, it's a great adventure. But like all adventures, it's also hard work. Tonight, look up into the night sky. Somewhere up there is the International Space Station, ISS. Travelling at around 28,000 kilometres per hour and orbiting the Earth at a height of 350 kilometres, this is where I live and work. The ISS is home to 6 astronauts like me from different countries, including the USA and Russia. Most of us stay on the ISS for between 2 weeks and 6 months. Our day is completely organised. We know when we have to eat, sleep, wake up and wash. Of course, we have jobs too. We are not space tourists, and life on the ISS is not a holiday. The most difficult time on the ISS for me was when I first arrived. With no gravity, you can't stop moving on the space station, and many people hit the walls and the floor. It's very easy to break the equipment and computers, so you have to learn to control your movements. I also had to learn how to wash in zero gravity. Water floats in the space station, so it's easy to damage the equipment. The answer is wipes. You know, the wet tissues that people use to wash a baby with no soap or water. In zero gravity, you don't use your muscles, and if you don't use your muscles, you stop being fit. That's why we ride an exercise bike on the ISS. It doesn't look like a normal bike because you lie on it and move your feet. When we're not working, we write emails and phone home. Friday night is film night, when we watch TV together. So it's not all work, work, work. At night, we have our own bedrooms. As you can see, they are probably about the same size as your wardrobe. There is no real night and day in space because the ISS moves around the Earth. But we have a time here when we say night begins. Life is hard, but we know that we are doing important work. Scientists can study our lives on the ISS and learn about how to live in space. This will help us to prepare for the next big step on our voyage to the stars. One day, we want to send people to the red planet, Mars, and I want to be one of them. Do you?
CLIL C. Earthquakes. Page 192. Exercise 1.
Earthquakes. You ask the questions. This week, what is an earthquake? An earthquake is a natural disaster. Even today, we cannot predict when earthquakes happen. An earthquake is a movement in the Earth's crust. The crust is the rock around the planet. It contains many plates, or big, separate pieces of rock. When two plates move together, this causes an earthquake. In an earthquake, the Earth shakes. There's a lot of damage, and buildings can collapse. The most dangerous place to be is the epicenter. This is the center of the earthquake. Some places have more earthquakes than others. In places where two plates meet, there are frequent earthquakes because these plates often move together. One example is the San Andreas Fault in the USA. This caused the 1906 and 1989 San Francisco earthquakes. Other natural disasters often accompany earthquakes. Sometimes earthquakes happen under the sea. These create big waves called a tsunami, which can cause enormous destruction when it hits land. What to do before and during an earthquake? Before. Prepare an emergency pack in your home. Include a torch, a first aid kit for emergency medical treatment, and a radio with batteries for news. Choose a safe place in your home or school to go to in an earthquake. For example, behind a door or under a bed or a table. During. If you are in a very old building, leave it. Old buildings can collapse. If you are in a modern building, wait before going outside. When you go outside, wear strong shoes because there may be broken glass in the street. Try not to use your mobile phone. The emergency services need the telephone more than you.
CLIL D. The original wireless. Page 194. Exercise 1.
The original wireless. Today, wireless means a way of sending and receiving information on the internet. We can connect our mobiles and computers on the web using invisible waves of energy. Back in 1901, wireless was something different. In those days, it was a word for radio. The inventor of radio was Guglielmo Marconi. He was born in 1874. His mother was Irish and his father was Italian. Marconi came from a rich family, so he had lots of money to follow his passion for science. As a young boy, Marconi was fascinated by electricity. He believed it was possible to send messages through the air using invisible radio waves. Up until then, people used the telegraph to send messages of dots and dashes through a cable. The telegraph was a machine that first appeared in the 1830s. Marconi improved the technology so that it sent telegraph messages through the air using radio waves. That was the beginning of modern radio. Next, he worked on how to send radio messages over long distances, for example, across the Atlantic Ocean. Many scientists believed this was impossible because radio waves move in straight lines, but the Earth is round. Marconi didn't agree. He spent enormous amounts of his money to show it was possible to send radio waves over great distances. He built one antenna in England and another one in Canada. Then, his assistant sent a message from England and Marconi waited to receive it in Canada. Marconi was right again. At 12:30, on the afternoon of the 12th of December 1901, he heard the first radio message, which was just a single S. Marconi's invention was not just a hobby. It helped to save lives. In 1912, the famous ship, the Titanic, sank when it hit an iceberg. The ship immediately sent a message asking for help by wireless. Other ships received the message and went to save the Titanic's passengers. Just under half the people on the Titanic survived because of Marconi's invention. Sadly, this didn't include Jack Phillips, the brave man who sent the message from the ship. Marconi's invention of radio connected the whole world. He won the Nobel Prize for Physics in 1909, and after he died in 1937, many wireless stations were silent for 2 minutes to remember the genius who created radio.
CLIL E. The Queen of Crime. Page 196. Exercise 1.
The Queen of Crime. Her books sell billions. She is one of the most successful writers of all time, and new movies of her stories appear every year. She is, of course, the Queen of Crime, Agatha Christie. Agatha Christie was born in 1890, and her crime novels are popular because of their complicated mysteries. It's often impossible to identify the murderer until the final chapter in novels like Murder on the Orient Express. Much of her success also comes from her brilliant characters. Her two most famous detectives, Hercule Poirot and Miss Marple, are completely different people. Poirot is a Belgian ex-police officer who solves crimes for the rich and famous. He's a vain man who's very proud of his perfect moustache. Miss Marple is an old lady who lives in a quiet English village. People think she is just a nosy old woman, but what she is actually doing is solving crimes. Christie was a modern woman who loved travel and adventure. For example, she was one of the first British people to go surfing. There are photos of Christie with a surfboard from 1922 in Cape Town, South Africa. Her husband, Max Mallowan, was an archaeologist, and she travelled with him all over the Middle East. This gave her the ideas for the exotic locations for novels like Death on the Nile, another Hercule Poirot mystery. Christie became one of the world's most famous authors, but she was also dyslexic. Christie said that English spelling was always a problem for her. Of course, Christie wasn't the first British writer to create a famous detective. The first was Arthur Conan Doyle, 1859 to 1930, the inventor of Sherlock Holmes. Doyle disliked his most famous creation, and so he killed Holmes in a story in 1893. Unfortunately, the public complained because they loved Holmes so much. So Conan Doyle started writing more stories, and the great detective returned in the novel The Hound of the Baskervilles in 1901. Agatha Christie had the same problem. She too started to hate her most famous detective, Hercule Poirot, but the public loved him. In the 1940s, she wrote Curtain, a story where Poirot dies. But she didn't publish the novel until 1975, perhaps because she remembered the public reaction to Holmes's death. The year after Christie herself died, she had one more surprise for her readers. In the 1940s, she also wrote a final Miss Marple novel, Sleeping Murder. This book was a secret, and it only appeared in 1976, to the amazement of the public. Even after her death, Agatha Christie is still the queen of crime.
CLIL F. Statistics Made Easy. Page 198. Exercise 1.
Statistics Made Easy. Statistics. What are they? Statistics are everywhere. They may be percentages, like 99.9%. They may be fractions, like a quarter. Both these types of statistics are useful, and we use them and other statistics to make data easy to understand. Imagine we want to know what month students in our school were born. First, we collect raw data. A survey is a good way to get information. We can ask people questions, and when we have our data, we can put it in a table, like this. Month, number of students born. January, 29. February, 25. March, 46. April, 40. May, 51. June, 30. July, 17. August, 15. September, 18. October, 36. November, 23. December, 25. Total, 355. We can now use this data to calculate percentages. We take one portion and divide it by the total. So January is 29 and the total is 355. 29 divided by 355 equals 0.0817. Now multiply this result by 100 to get the percentage. 0.0817 multiplied by 100 equals 8.17%. Diagrams. We can illustrate the data using diagrams, like a pie chart, or a bar chart, or we can use a graph to show a trend. A trend is a general movement. Warning. We can interpret statistics in different ways. One statistics teacher did a famous experiment to show that statistics can prove anything. Children often ask their parents, "Where do babies come from?" In many European countries, parents say that a bird, the stork, brings babies to parents. It's an easier answer than the more complicated biological explanation. Robert Matthews of Aston University asked the question, "Are there more babies where there are more storks in Europe?" The answer was yes. But look at the reason behind the statistics. There are more storks in Europe's biggest countries because there is more land. There are also more babies in the biggest countries because there are more people. Obviously, there is no magical connection between storks and babies, but it is easy to see how people sometimes see a link that isn't there when they read statistics.
Festivals A. Thanksgiving. Page 200. Exercise 1.
Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is one of the most important national holidays in the United States of America. The festival is always on the fourth Thursday in November. It's a day when families come together to eat a big meal. Lots of people travel a long distance to be with their families. There are often enormous traffic jams in the days before the festival. Around 50 million people travel home for the holiday, and they all do it at exactly the same time. Fortunately, there are also big public celebrations across the country. New York is famous for the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Macy's is a big department store in the center of the city, and it arranges a parade on Thanksgiving Day every year. There are thousands of people in the street, and also giant balloons of cartoon characters like Spider-Man, Snoopy, and Bart Simpson. At home, many people relax and watch American football. There are 2 games on Thanksgiving Day, and the Detroit Lions always play in one of them. That's good news for the fans, but bad news for the players, because they never spend the day with their families. Thanksgiving began in 1621. That year, British colonists invited the local Native Americans, the Wampanoag, to a special dinner. When they first arrived in America, the British colonists had many problems. It was very difficult to grow food in the new country. The Wampanoag taught them how to grow food, and so saved the lives of the colonists. That's why the British arranged a special dinner for the Wampanoag to give thanks to them for their help. At the first dinner, they ate fish and goose, but not turkey. That tradition started later. Nobody knows exactly why. Today, people eat 50 million turkeys on Thanksgiving Day every year. Only one turkey is happy that day. The US president always pardons one turkey every year. Nobody can eat it, and the turkey lives the rest of its life in a park. That's a bird that really needs to say thanks.
Festivals B. St. Patrick's Day. Page 202. Exercise 1.
St. Patrick's Day. It's the 17th of March, and everyone is wearing green. Why? Because green is the national colour of Ireland, and the 17th of March is Ireland's national day, St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick's Day is usually one big party. It's a national holiday in Ireland, but people celebrate it all over the world, in places such as Australia, Canada, and the USA. The British ruled Ireland for many years, but they were cruel rulers, so many people emigrated to escape them. In the 1840s, thousands of people also left Ireland because of the Irish potato famine. It was a time when everyone was hungry. Many of these Irish immigrants went to the USA. There are now 34.7 million people in the US whose ancestors came from Ireland. Compare that to the population of the Republic of Ireland today, just 4.7 million. This is why one of the world's biggest St. Patrick's Day celebrations is in New York. Irish Americans celebrate with an enormous parade through the city centre. Everybody wears green, and there is music and dancing. The parade is incredibly old. It started in 1762, 14 years before the USA became an independent country. In another US city, Chicago, they have a very colourful tradition for St. Patrick's Day. Every 17th of March, they dye the city's river green. So, who was St. Patrick? He was the person who brought Christianity to Ireland. He was born in Roman Britain about 1,500 years ago. When Patrick was 16, pirates captured him and they took him to Ireland, where he worked as a slave. After many years, he escaped and went back to Britain. Later, he returned to Ireland to teach people about his religion. In the most famous legend about him, Patrick sent all snakes out of Ireland. It's a fact that there are no snakes there today. St. Patrick probably died on the 17th of March, 493, and today he is the patron saint of the Republic of Ireland and also Northern Ireland, which is part of the United Kingdom. His day is a holiday in both parts of Ireland. It's one of many ways that people in the UK and Ireland now live in peace together, after many centuries of conflict.
Step into Culture 1. The USA. Los Angeles. Page 212. Exercise 1.
Los Angeles. Every year, thousands of young people go to Los Angeles, or LA, because they believe that they are going to be stars. LA is home to Hollywood, the center of the film industry. It's impossible to escape the movies in LA. You can see the Hollywood sign above the city on Mount Lee. In the beginning, it said Hollywoodland before they changed the name. In the city center, you can visit the Hollywood Walk of Fame. It has over 2,400 stars that show the names of Hollywood legends like Marilyn Monroe or Charlie Chaplin. There are also some fictional characters who have stars, including Mickey Mouse and Shrek. This is a place where the difference between fiction and reality is small. In LA, remember that every waiter and waitress that you meet is probably an actor too. They all hope to have their name on the Walk of Fame one day. Nearby is a place that every movie fan would love to visit, Grauman's Chinese Theatre, also called TCL Chinese Theatre. It's a cinema which looks like a Chinese palace, and lots of the decorations actually came from China. It hosts many of the world's most famous movie premieres, including Star Wars in 1977 and Jurassic World in 2015. Go to any premiere there today and you are going to see hundreds of fans with their smartphones. They all want to take a selfie with the stars who are going to appear. After watching a premiere, many visitors enjoy looking around Beverly Hills. This is the neighborhood where all the stars live. Even the streets are famous in Beverly Hills, like Sunset Boulevard. It's the name of a movie made in 1950 that was about unsuccessful people in the movie business. Some people's dreams become a nightmare in LA. People in Hollywood love making films about the movies. A good way to see the city if you can't travel there is to watch the 2016 musical La La Land. The title means both Los Angeles, LA, and a place where people are unrealistic, La La Land. It's the perfect name for a movie about the city of dreams.
Step into Culture 2. The USA. A Nation of Immigrants. Page 214. Exercise 1.
A nation of immigrants. A. There have always been people in the Americas. When Christopher Columbus became the first European to see the Americas in 1492, millions of people already lived there. Columbus called them Indians because he believed he was in India. Today, people say Native Americans. Many states have taken their names from Native American tribes, like Kansas and Alabama. B. After Columbus, Europeans began arriving in the New World to start a new life. People left their own countries for many different reasons. Some wanted to live the American dream, the idea that anyone can become rich in the USA. Other people escaped persecution in their own countries. C. Many people first arrived on Ellis Island. This was an island in New York Harbor where people asked for permission to stay in the country. 12 million immigrants arrived there, and 50% of all Americans have an ancestor who passed through Ellis Island in the past. These were often Europeans, from Ireland, Italy, and many other countries. Ellis Island finally closed in 1954 when a Norwegian sailor became the last person to arrive. D. On the west coast of America, immigration has come from many other places. For example, many Chinese people came to California in the 19th century. They often worked on the railways and in mines. The Chinese community has grown over the years, and now Chinatown, in San Francisco, has the largest Chinese population in the USA, around 100,000 people. E. For many African Americans, there is a sadder story. In the 18th and 19th centuries, people captured Africans and brought them to America to work as slaves in states such as Virginia and Louisiana. These slaves worked on farms called plantations, where they often grew cotton for clothes. At that time, there were around 4 million slaves in the country. In 1865, at the end of the American Civil War, slavery in the USA finally became illegal. F. War, dreams, and slavery. These are all reasons that have brought people to the USA. It has made America a nation of immigrants.
Step into Culture 3. The USA. Great American Writers. Page 216. Exercise 1.
Great American Writers. Ernest Hemingway, 1899 to 1961. Hemingway was a journalist who reported on wars like the Spanish Civil War, 1935 to 1939. His books often describe the adventures he had while he was traveling the world. Hemingway won the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1954 for The Old Man and the Sea. It's the story of an old fisherman in Cuba. The fisherman wants to catch a marlin, an enormous fish, and the book is about their epic struggle. Hemingway wrote this short novel while he was living in Cuba. As always, Hemingway used simple words and sentences to tell his story. J.D. Salinger, 1919 to 2010. J.D. Salinger wrote the most famous book ever about a teenager, The Catcher in the Rye. It tells the story of Holden Caulfield, a boy who is at a boarding school in Pennsylvania. Holden leaves his school without permission and goes to New York City, where he looks for new experiences. The Catcher in the Rye was Salinger's only bestseller. In later life, he became a very private man and never gave interviews. The public became fascinated by him, but Salinger rarely spoke to anyone about his work. Harper Lee, 1926 to 2016. Harper Lee's 1960 novel To Kill a Mockingbird is an important book because it talks about prejudice between black and white people in the USA. In the novel, a group of white people accuse Tom Robinson, a black man, of a terrible crime. Nobody will help Robinson, except for one brave lawyer, Atticus Finch. Finch's young daughter, Scout, narrates the novel. When she was growing up, Harper Lee was friends with the famous author Truman Capote, and he encouraged her to write the novel. Toni Morrison, 1931 to present. Toni Morrison was teaching English at a university when her first novel, The Bluest Eye, appeared. She was already almost 40 years old, but this was the beginning of a long literary career. She has now written 10 novels and is one of the most respected writers in American history. Her most famous book, Beloved, 1987, is both a historical novel and a ghost story. It was immediately successful, and it led to the biggest honor in her career. In 1993, Morrison became the first African-American author to win the Nobel Prize in Literature.
Step into Culture 4. Australia. The Land Down Under. Page 218. Exercise 1.
The land down under. 1. Australia is enormous. If you put a map of Europe over a map of Australia, you'll see that they are a similar size. Australia has 5 time zones, so when it's 8 p.m. in Sydney in the east, it's 5 p.m. in Perth in the west. Some people say Australia is the world's biggest island, but it is really a continent. 2. 70% of Australia is a desert called the Outback. Most of the people who live there are Aborigines, the original people from Australia. It is very dry, but many animals live there. If you travel across the Outback, you might see a snake. There are 140 types of snakes in Australia, and most of them are poisonous. 3. In the middle of the Outback is Uluru, Ayers Rock. It's a rock that is 10 kilometres round. It's like a mountain, and it's unique in the world. The Aborigines call it Uluru. If you climb the rock, you will offend the Aborigines, because Uluru is a sacred place for them. 4. Australia is famous for its wildlife, and the kangaroo is the country's national symbol. There are around 35 million kangaroos in the country. Compare that to Australia's human population of just 21 million. Kangaroos are marsupials, which means they have a pouch where their babies grow up. Australia's koalas are also marsupials. These very cute animals only eat the leaves of the eucalyptus trees, so they live in Australia's large forests. 5. Australia is in the Pacific Ocean, and it has hundreds of beautiful beaches. In the north of the country, there is the Coral Sea with the Great Barrier Reef. This is a natural wall of coral. When it is dead, coral looks like stone, but it is actually made up of live organisms called polyps. The Great Barrier Reef is a line of coral 344,400 kilometres long. It is home to thousands of fish. Sadly, this rich environment is in danger. The coral is dying because of climate change. If it dies, these fish will disappear too. If we don't stop pollution now, we will lose this beautiful part of the Australian coast.
Step into Culture 5. Canada. 10 things about. Page 220. Exercise 1.
10 things you never knew about Canada. 1. Canada means village or land in the Iroquois language. The Iroquois were some of the original inhabitants of Canada. 2. People speak French and English in Quebec. They are both the country's official languages. 3. The capital city isn't one of Canada's big cities like Toronto, Montreal or Vancouver. Since 1857, the capital has been Ottawa. The British Queen Victoria, 1837 to 1901, chose it at random by looking at a map. She liked it because it was in the centre of the country at that time. 4. Canada has only had its own flag since 1965. Before that, their flag was the British flag, the Union Jack. The Canadian flag shows a maple leaf. 5. Canada is bigger than the USA. It's the world's second largest country. 6. Canada has produced many of the world's most famous people, but the public have often thought they were Americans. Some film and music stars that are actually Canadian include actor Ryan Gosling and singer Justin Bieber. 7. The Vikings invaded Canada 500 years before Columbus. We know this because archaeologists have found the ruins of their houses. 8. Canada doesn't have a president. The head of state is the British monarch. The country is a member of the British Commonwealth, an organisation of countries that has replaced the old British Empire. 9. Canadians use dollars, just like the Americans, but their currency is called the Canadian dollar. Just like in America, the slang name for a Canadian dollar is a buck. 10. For centuries, people have called the Canadians Canucks. It's a slang word. Everyone likes the word, but nobody knows where it comes from.
Step into Culture 6. The Caribbean. Islands in the Sun. Page 222. Exercise 1.
Islands in the Sun. If you went to the Caribbean, what would you see? Where would you go? If you closed your eyes and thought of the Caribbean, you'd probably think of white beaches, clear water, and hot weather. But is it so simple? The Caribbean Sea is in the tropics, and the weather is wonderful. But it contains over 7,000 islands and lots of different countries. Many of the English-speaking countries of the Caribbean have a common identity. For example, 15 different countries play as one team, called the West Indies, in international cricket competitions. Players come from island nations such as Antigua and Jamaica, as well as Guyana, which is on the continent of South America. Jamaica is possibly the most iconic of the Caribbean countries. It was home to the most famous musician to come from the area, Bob Marley. Marley played reggae, a kind of pop music, and he became world famous for songs like No Woman, No Cry and Three Little Birds. Marley was also famous for his hairstyle, dreadlocks, which are now popular all over the world. Other Caribbean countries have a very different culture to Jamaica. Cuba, for example, is Spanish-speaking. It became a communist country after a revolution in 1959, but no other Caribbean country has had a communist government. However, Cuba and the USA are very near each other. The island is only 144 kilometers from Florida. As a result, Cuba also shares a lot of American culture. The national sport there is baseball, for example. People in the Caribbean speak many languages. In the Lesser Antilles, people speak Dutch, because some of the islands are part of the Netherlands. The Leeward Antilles, Aruba, Curaçao, and Bonaire, are also called the ABC Islands, for an obvious reason. The island of Hispaniola is different again. The east of the island is the Spanish-speaking Dominican Republic, while the west is French-speaking Haiti. Haiti made the news all over the world in 2016 after Hurricane Matthew destroyed homes and cities across the country. Hurricanes are a constant problem for many Caribbean nations. They start in the Atlantic Ocean and then travel across the islands where they can cause terrible damage. When we talk of the Caribbean, we should know that it's a region with many different cultures, peoples, and languages. To really understand the Caribbean, visitors should go to several of the islands to see how different people live. The Caribbean has a rich culture which can take a lifetime to explore.
Picture Dictionary 1. Jobs. Page 224. Exercise 1. 1,
Plumber.
2,
Waiter. Waitress.
3,
Vet.
4,
Electrician.
5,
Pharmacist.
6,
Shop assistant.
7,
Taxi driver.
8,
Doctor.
9,
Carpenter.
10,
Teacher.
11,
Pilot.
12.
Architect.
Picture Dictionary 1. Jobs. Page 224. Exercise 2. Example.
My dad's a teacher. He works at the high school.
1,
I have a headache, so the pharmacist gave me some paracetamol.
2,
The doctor told me I have a broken arm.
3,
There is a horrible smell in the bathroom. Let's call the plumber.
4,
My big sister has a job. On Saturdays, she works as a waitress in a cafe.
5,
This supermarket is enormous. I can't find anything. Let's ask a shop assistant for help.
6,
My mum's a carpenter. She made this table.
7,
It's hard to be a taxi driver. You spend hours in the car every day.
8,
My aunt is a pilot. She flies all around the world.
9,
To work as an architect and design buildings, you need to understand maths and art.
10,
None of the lights in the house are working. We need to call an electrician.
11.
I love animals, so I want to work as a vet when I leave school.
Picture Dictionary 2. The environment. Page 225. Exercise 1. 1,
Waste.
2,
Waste separation.
3,
Recycling bin.
4,
Paper.
5,
Glass.
6,
Aluminium.
7,
Plastic.
8.
Landfill.
Picture Dictionary 2. The environment. Page 225. Exercise 2. 1,
Let's recycle these bottles.
2,
OK, first separate the tops from the bottles.
3,
People just dump their old fridges here.
4,
Yes, and it pollutes the river.
5,
We want to conserve this forest so it stays beautiful.
6,
I'm going to throw out these old clothes.
7.
Don't do that. I can use them. I never waste anything.
Picture Dictionary 3. Exciting experiences. Page 226. Exercise 1. 1,
Go go-karting.
2,
Go on a safari.
3,
Fly in a plane.
4,
Go zorbing.
5,
Be in the news.
6,
Stay in a hotel.
7,
Go windsurfing.
8,
Ride a roller coaster.
9,
Go to a premiere.
10,
Ride a motorbike.
11.
Go snorkeling.
Picture Dictionary 3. Exciting experiences. Page 226. Exercise 2. Example.
My brother goes go-karting every weekend. He loves it.
1,
You can see some amazing fish when you go snorkeling.
2,
We took a photo of a lion when we went on a safari.
3,
I spoke to a famous film actor when I went to a premiere.
4,
The first time I flew in a plane, it went from London to Paris.
5,
You can travel really fast over the water when you go windsurfing.
6,
Look at this article. A girl from my school is in the news today.
7,
We go camping on holiday because we don't have enough money to stay in a hotel.
8,
When you go zorbing, you move in this giant plastic ball. It's amazing.
9,
My dad rides a motorbike, and he sometimes takes me to school on it.
10,
I love riding a roller coaster. I love it when they go up and down and around. It's only 2 minutes, but it's so much fun.
Picture Dictionary 4. Technology. Page 227. Exercise 1. 1,
Computer tower.
2,
Cable.
3,
Mouse.
4,
Mouse mat.
5,
Webcam.
6,
Speakers.
7,
Headphones.
8,
Microphone.
9,
Printer.
10,
USB connection.
11,
Keyboard.
12.
Monitor.
Picture Dictionary 4. Technology. Page 227. Exercise 2. Example.
I can't see anything on your computer monitor. It's too dark.
1,
My photos are on this pen drive. Do you have a USB connection on your laptop so we can see them?
2,
Jim, I can't hear you. Adjust your microphone.
3,
I have a laptop, so I don't have a computer tower.
4,
We don't need a cable to make a copy of this document because this system uses Wi-Fi.
5.
The letter Q on my keyboard doesn't work because I hit it too many times playing a computer game.
6.
My neighbours have their speakers next to my bedroom wall and I can hear their music at night.
7.
Move the mouse to control the cursor.
8.
You can record videos using your webcam.
Picture Dictionary 5. Good manners. Page 228. Exercise 1. 1,
Stand in a queue.
2,
Use your knife or fork.
3,
Cover your mouth when you sneeze or yawn.
4,
Apologize if you bump into somebody.
5,
Wait your turn.
6,
Sit up straight.
7,
Say please and thank you.
8,
Hold the door open for people.
9,
Wash your hands before meals.
10,
Be on time.
11,
Don't speak with your mouth full.
12.
Be polite.
Picture Dictionary 5. Good manners. Page 228. Exercise 2. 1. D.
I know you're tired, but please cover your mouth when you yawn.
2. A.
When you ask for something, you always say please and thank you.
3. F.
Sam, you're late again. You're never on time.
4. B.
I'm sorry, I was here before you. Please wait your turn.
5. C.
Mandy, you have paint on your fingers, so wash your hands before dinner.
6. E.
Maslong is carrying lots of books, so hold the door open for her.
Picture Dictionary 5. Good manners. Page 228. Exercise 3. 1.
People are waiting to enter the restaurant. We have to stand in a queue.
2.
Tom, don't speak with your mouth full. We don't want to see your dinner.
3.
I know you don't like Richard, but please try to be polite this evening.
4.
Jenny, this is a very posh restaurant. Use your knife and fork to eat your burger.
5.
A man hit me in the back and he didn't apologize for bumping into me.
6.
You'll get backache in the future if you work on the computer like that. Sit up straight.
Picture Dictionary 6. Accidents and injuries. Page 229. Exercise 1. 1.
Sprain your ankle.
2.
Burn your hand.
3.
Pull a muscle.
4.
Get sunburnt.
5.
Bump your head.
6.
Break a bone.
7.
Cut your finger.
Picture Dictionary 6. Accidents and injuries. Page 229. Exercise 2. 1.
Lotion.
2,
painkiller,
3,
ice pack,
4,
plaster,
5,
pill,
6,
antiseptic cream,
7,
plaster cast,
8.
bandage,
Extra Grammar 1 and 2. Materials. Page 230. Exercise 1. 1,
Iron,
2,
steel,
3,
cotton,
4,
denim,
5,
rubber,
6,
ceramic,
7,
silk,
8,
gold,
9,
concrete,
10.
wool.
Extra Grammar 1 and 2. Materials. Page 230. Exercise 2. 1,
These are important materials for construction. We use steel to make the inside of buildings because it is a strong metal. We use concrete to make a sort of artificial stone on the outside of buildings and roads.
2,
Both of these materials come from animals. Wool comes from sheep, and we use it to make jumpers and warm clothes. Silk comes from an insect, and we use it to make beautiful clothes.
3,
Cotton comes from a plant, and it is one of the most common materials that we use to make t-shirts, trousers, and socks. We also use it to make denim, a stronger material that we use to make jeans.
4,
These are two common metals. They are both elements. Iron is magnetic. Gold is a precious yellow metal, and we use it to make jewelry like rings.
5,
It is very difficult to break objects when they are made of rubber, so we use it to make toys, tires on cars, and boots. It comes from trees. On the other hand, most plates and cups are ceramic. They are made from porcelain, and they break easily.
Extra Grammar 3. Life Events. Page 231. Exercise 1. 1,
Get engaged.
2,
Pass my driving test.
3,
Get a pet.
4,
Win a prize.
5,
Have a sleepover.
6,
Pass my exams.
7,
Go to the school prom.
8,
Move house.
9,
Go to a christening.
10.
Have a surprise party.
Extra Grammar 3. Life Events. Page 231. Exercise 2. Example.
We had a surprise party for my sister's 18th birthday. She was so shocked.
1,
The last time we had a sleepover at my house, we didn't go to bed at all. We talked all night.
2,
I have to have extra lessons before school starts again in September because I didn't pass my exams. I failed them all.
3,
I've lived in Rome, London and Dublin because I've moved house a lot in my life.
4.
I won a prize in a writing competition last month with one of my short stories. It was an opportunity to meet a famous author.
5.
My parents got engaged when they were 29 and they got married the next year.
6.
I don't want to go to the school prom because I hate dancing. Thankfully, it only happens once at the end of your final year at school.
7.
Mum, if I pass my driving test, can I use the family car at the weekend?
8.
Dad, please can we get a pet? I really, really want a dog.
9.
My family is going to go to a christening for my little cousin tomorrow. They're going to call him Adam.